If you're new, my name is Bethany, and today we are going to try to get all of the things done before the holiday. My house is not awful, but I feel like it's awful. But so anyways, we're going to try to get that knocked out. And I'm starting in my bathroom on the back side of the house, and I'm just going to work my way forward into the main living and just try to get it all done. So our shower doors had a lot of soap scum built up. So I used the CLR calcium lime and rust, I think it is. And I sprayed it on the glass. I don't know if you're supposed to, but I did. And then I also took like a Brillo pad and just went through and went over it really lightly. Don't know if it's recommended, but it did get it got the soap scum off, so that was nice, and it didn't take like a whole lot of scrubbing. But today, like some days, do you ever get to the point where your floors, like even if you mop, they just don't feel dirty, or they don't feel clean, they still feel dirty? Like, and I don't know if it's because I'm just not convinced that one of those, like the hardwood, the flat mop things, in my head, I don't think it cleans. I think it just smears it all around. And I know that a mop and all the things probably do the same thing. But some reason, every once in a while, I will scrub my floors like hot soapy water and with just a microfiber towel. Just because it just makes them feel so much nicer. I did it in my kitchen, in my living room. I do it in my kitchen in this video. My dining room, I just do the regular mop. They don't get as much traffic as my kitchen and living room. The dogs don't really lay in there, or go in there very much. So I guess in my head, it's not as dirty. But I scrubbed my kitchen floors and my living room floors too. I didn't video my living room, but they feel so much nicer and so much cleaner. So I don't know if it's just in my head or if it actually works. But every once in a while, I just decide it's time that I actually scrub them. So anyways, I get that done. And I also finish wrapping all of my neighbors and extended family gifts in this video. I still need to wrap all of my children's gifts. I also have to find them because we randomly hide them, and then I have to remember where we put them. And my husband does too, so that's fun. It's like a scavenger hunt. So I need to get that done. But for the most part, I feel like at least my house is not chaos before the holidays. I get all the rooms clean, and then my kids help me. They knocked out their bathroom and cleaned up their rooms. Of course, they do that anyway. But they helped me scrub their bathroom really good. And they also alternated loading and unloading the dishwasher just so that way we were caught up. Because sometimes it's easy to get behind, especially whenever we're all home. And we were out of paper plates, so we've been using real plates. And they stack up pretty quick. So they were nice, and they just took turns alternating, unloading, and loading the dishwasher. So again, that was a lot of help. But anyways, let's get back to it. Also, whenever I clean my toilet, I always spray it down with a cleaner and then let it set for a long time. Just because, like, Lysol and stuff, it says on there to let it set for over so many minutes. So I just spray it on there before when I first go in the bathroom to start cleaning. And then I just let it sit on there just so that way it disinfects fully and all the stuff. And then I'll usually spray it down with like the can of Lysol afterwards too, just because to get all those germs gone. But anyways, and I also use toilet paper to just clean up the cleaner. Why? I don't know, but it works fine. And then I just flush it when I'm done. So versus using a rag. But so anyways, I'm going to get that done and move on from here. Oh, I go to the laundry room next because I was going to change out my bath mats and stuff, but I couldn't remember where I put them whenever I reorganized my laundry room. So I went in there and I thought, well, maybe they're dirty. So I started a load of laundry and got all that going. And then I remembered I put them in the tall pantry cabinet. So found them, and on the upside, I got laundry started. So, and all the baskets in there are not dirty. Most of them are actually clean clothes, except for that one big wheelie thing, cart. But all of the baskets in there are actually clean clothes that I've sorted, and my kids are going to put those away for me. But so anyways, I'm going to finish up here, sweep, and scrub this floor. switch out my water and get me another microfiber towel because I scrubbed all around the toilet and I don't want to scrub the rest of the floor with the same rag. So I went in here to find my bath mats and I couldn't find them, and I was like, I am going to start the other bath mats and sort all these clothes and get them ready, which for the most part I just sort my clothes. I was getting rid of that sheet because some sheets are made so weird. That one messes with my sensories. But so anyways, I sorted all the towels out. One, I don't like to put the towels in with the clothes because that way if they do sour, they make your clothes stink. So I try to avoid doing that. They were in that bin. But so anyways, and then also I wash my towels separate, and then I wash like cotton, like clothes, like t-shirts and stuff separate from pants. And if I have whites, then I'll sort those. But for the most part, like socks and stuff, I really don't care to bleach them. So I'm not one who is really good at laundry or puts a lot of time into it, and I need to be better about it. But so anyways, I found the bath mats, so yay. My kids are kind of playing in my room, so I just tidied that up and I swept in here. And then I'm going to move on and let them come back and hang out. They've already got all their blankets and pillows in here. So, all right, I am going to move on to the dining room. I'm going to pass it and go to the kitchen. I think I'll finish in the dining room just because I need to wrap some more presents. And that's what's on the table. So instead of moving that around a bunch, I'm going to finish there. Alrighty, let's get to it. Okay, change of plans. I don't know if you know this, but every time I try to make a plan, it changes. But so anyways, I was going to go to the kitchen next and start in there and wash all my cabinets down. That was my game plan. But I went in there and I'd forgotten my husband had cooked. So I'm going to have my daughter unload the dishwasher and load it first. And then I'm going to go in there. So I'm probably going to move into the dining room and go ahead and wrap presents. Just that way I'm not just waiting around. So that's the plan. We'll see if it changes again. So we stuck with that plan. So if you're wondering what the twin size mattress in the hallway is for, so whenever my kids have sleepovers and stuff, I like to have an extra mattress just so that way their friends or their cousins or whoever comes over does not have to sleep on the floor uncomfortably. Sometimes they'll bring all of them into the living room and just have a big sleepover, but I just think it's nice. That way they have a bed to sleep in. But anyways, we store that under my bed, so I just have to put it up. But anyways, I'm going to get this dining room table cleaned off, and then I'm going to finish up all of my extended family and friends presents and get them all wrapped ready to go. Oh, and also, the boxes, I tell you later on in this too, but so I got boxes for my neighbor, or not for my neighbor, well, for my neighbor as well, but for my coworkers and stuff, I put theirs in boxes, and it worked out really well because I forgot one of them's moving, so she used all the boxes for moving, and then my neighbor, I gave them their boxes, and she was like, "Oh, these are nice boxes. We can use." I forgot. Well, I knew her daughter was getting married, but I didn't think of it. And she was like, "We can use all these to help transport stuff to the wedding venue." And I was like, "Oh, yay!" So it actually worked out really well. So that was exciting and a win because sometimes things just work out for a certain reason. I don't know, but so anyways, I thought it was cool. But all right, back to it. You're good. But so anyways, I'm going to do boxes. It keeps Bean from stepping on them and ripping the paper because she's crazy. And also, lady at work ended up using the boxes that I used because she's moving. So it worked out pretty well. But anyways. So I decided this year I am going to use up all of my previous years of wrapping paper because I just want it gone. You always end up with random tubes of just a few things of wrapping paper or like so I'm just going to try to use up as much of it as I can just to get it out of the house. But my neighbors and everybody got Harry Potter wrapping paper because one year we decided like to wrap our children's in the things that they like, so that way it was just easier. You didn't have to look for a tag. So I'm just using up the rest of this, and I ran out of the snowman and reindeer and Santa that we had, so I'm just going to use up all of this. It gets it out of the house and it saves money because I don't have to buy anything. But so anyways, I'm going to get this done and then we are going to move into the kitchen. So, do you actually like wrapping presents, or do you do gift bags? Like every year, I think, oh, I love like wrapping presents, until I'm like in the middle of wrapping presents, and I'm like, oh, there's so many, I'm over it. But I mean, to be honest, like back in the day, whenever the malls had the gift wrapping stations and stuff, I could have never worked there. First off, I can't make them that pretty, and second of all, I would go insane. It's a real art. It really is. I would love to be able to wrap and put the pretty bows and all the stuff, just because I think gifts, like half the thing is presentation. But mine are just thrown in a box with some Harry Potter. But everybody did love their gifts, so that was good. But so anyways, are you one who goes all out with the bows? Because if so, I envy you. I wish I could wrap presents that nice and just make them that pretty. But I don't, it's an art, and I am not an artist when it comes to it. But so anyways, back at it. I'm going to get all these stacked up because, to be honest, where my Christmas tree is, if I was to put all these under the tree, you couldn't walk very well from the kitchen to the living room. So you'd have to go all the way through the kitchen, not through the little hallway area. So I'm not going to stack them up over there. I'm just going to stack them here. And until I have to take them to family and friends. And to be honest, I think I only have one box left. I did these yesterday, and between yesterday evening and this morning before I did this voiceover, I've given all of them out except for one. So, and I'll get that done today or maybe tomorrow whenever I see them out and about. But so anyways, I'm going to get all this cleaned up, get the dining room straightened back up, and then moving to the kitchen. So I want to make like, I'm gonna say a station, but something that, you know how like they make the little things where your brooms and your mops clip in and they hang on the wall. I want to make something, but also that will hold my vacuum and the accessories for it, because they don't really, like if you have a corded vacuum, they have like a place where all of your extra accessories clip on. Well, like the rechargeable vacuums, they don't. So I never know where to put them, and then I lose them. Like that one that's on the counter right there. Before this, I probably lost it for like 4 or 5 months. I couldn't find it, and then I finally found it. Where I found it, I can't remember, but just so that way I have a place to put it, because a lot of the problem whenever why my house ends up messy, or I think in general people's houses become messy, is you just don't actually have a home for all the things that you have. So if you actually have a place where it goes, I feel like you put it up more, and then it just makes it a little bit less stressful. So to be honest, my cabinets on the video don't look so bad, but that's why I did that up close because they were disgusting, and so are my floors. Like, I used to scrub them like this a few times out of the year at least, and since I've been working, I don't, and they really needed it. But so, anyways, Frank and Bean always come in and supervise. I always say Bean, it don't matter what I'm working on, she'll come lay there and watch me. A lot of times I'm like, yes, supervisor, but I'm gonna get this done. And I end up doing my living room as well, but I don't video it. I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas. Remember the true reason for the season, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye, guys.